Just finished tacking in the transmission mounts on this car that we're building. This was an automatic chassis car, and the J-body cars, the Cavaliers and Sunfires, the automatic transmission cars and the manual transmission cars have different chassis. The mounts for the transmissions are welded onto the frame rails, and they are different between cars. So to make this manual trans work in this car, I had to weld in these two brackets, the front and the rear. And these mounts we cut out of another car, and this is what they look like usually when you cut them off the frame rail. I had to remove a lot of the extra metal, clean these up to make them the right size, position them correctly, and tack them in. And it sounds like a lot of work. I've done it a couple times now, so I pretty much know where they lay. But you have to get them in the right position. And what I've seen some guys do is they will mount the engine on this side with this mount, put the brackets on the mounts, and then lift the engine up until it's level, and then wherever these brackets land is where they weld them. I just take numbers and measurements from other cars and weld them where they were from the factory, but whichever way works. Without having to go through the hassle of cutting mounts out of another car and then cleaning them up and welding them in, Hustler Chassis makes this sweet kit where you can just weld this straight to the frame rail back there. And then there's two pieces for that front mount. It comes with detailed instructions on how to mount them, what to measure from. Really makes the job easy. We did that on Alex's last car. So if you want to retain the factory Cavalier mounts, which we prefer to do, that's the best choice, to be honest. If you find a junked manual car, if you've got a manual car that got wrecked or whatever, like we did, chop them out and keep them. Alternatively, since a lot of guys are running the Cobalt or the View transmissions, you can do something like this. So that little short piece there can weld straight to the top of the frame rail, and this part will bolt to the top of the transmission. Because on the View and Cobalt transmissions, the mount plate is on the top of the transmission like that. That's a very easy way of doing it. And a lot of guys like the View transmissions for the gear ratios. My only complaint is you'll only have the anti-roll mount on the front that connects to the subframe, because this is not part of that setup. So you will not have a driver's side anti-roll mount. But we've been running this setup in particular for quite a while, and it's been working great. And I know some guys that run that View top mount style, and then they make a mount out of a couple pieces of angle iron to mount the engine hard to the frame rail on this side. But I much prefer using OEM mounts filled with urethane. It's ugly but effective. But there's my little video on mounts. Getting this car together ever so slowly. This weekend I'll be getting the cage welded into it. I got my angle in here. It's not welded down yet, but making progress.